someone say, "Very truly, I tell you," it could mean something very important is coming. Our passage today from the Gospel of John begins with this phrase, and it's actually in there a second time in this short passage. Now, if this were a textbook and I was highlighting what was important, which is what people do now in textbooks, I would highlight, "Very truly, I tell you," and everything that comes after it. So I want you to listen for those phrases and listen to the words that come right after them from John 10, verses 1 through 10. "Very truly, I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And when he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but they will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers." Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, "Very truly, I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Let's look at that first occurrence. In verse 1 it says, "Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out." Now, maybe we're like the disciples at this point, and it's hard to understand what Jesus means here. What robs us of being led out to the wonderful grazing land just outside the sheepfold? And what does being led out of the sheepfold point toward for us? Let's take time to take a look at the second phrase, and maybe that will help us figure it out. So again, Jesus said to them, "Very truly, I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and I will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." Now, verse 10 tells us exactly what the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. It's something that Jesus calls abundant life. Now, he doesn't just say life, he says abundant life. So, if life is valuable in and of itself and good, well, then abundant life must be even better, more desirable. What does abundant life mean to you? It's not just surviving, but it's actually thriving. A sense of purpose, meaning, fulfillment, and to be in good relationship with those around us, to be accepted and to accept others. This seems to me a pretty basic understanding of a foundationally abundant life. And that even if we don't say it like that or think of it in quite that way, we all want a life full of meaning and a clear purpose. We all long to be surrounded and supported by people around us as we surround and support them. And people do all kinds of things. They make all kinds of sacrifices in order to get this kind of life. You know, sending our kids to the best schools that we can afford, or moving to a place where there's a good neighborhood and good neighbors and great schools and good jobs. Saving up and maybe going into debt to buy a house or a better house, buying and then maintaining a car, or more often several cars, and spending money on clothes and things like hairstylists and meals at nice restaurants and vacations, beauty products that promise us better skin or hair, gym memberships that maybe have us hoping for a better, fitter, stronger, slimmer body, maybe even country clubs that offer us connection with others and great food and a golf course. When we start thinking abundant life, we often find that there is a pretty big price tag that is also, abundant. It's large sometimes. And what happens when these things that we sometimes sacrifice to purchase, what if they fail to make us happy? It kills us just a little bit, doesn't it? Well, here's the not-so-secret secret. Advertisers have figured this out, that we will spend money for a better quality of life, even if it means we go into deep debt. A few years ago, the PBS documentary series Frontline produced an episode called The Persuaders. It was about advertising, and it showed evidence of how our strong desire for fulfillment and purpose, the world's definition of abundant life, that had been noted by advertisers, and there had been some changes in how they advertised. They went from showing how their products were of good quality to promising a higher quality of life if you just purchased what they were selling. Emotional branding is sometimes what it's called, and these products seek to fill the voids. And once upon a time, those voids might have been filled by participation in civic organizations like schools and churches. Many of the products that are advertised, they do serve a purpose. After all, we need shoes and cars and clothes, and sometimes we need laptops and cell phones. But these things, they really fail to provide what we really seek, that abundant life of purpose and meaning and relationship. We're actually cheating ourselves when we fall for this emotional appeal, when we let ourselves believe that the new house, the remodeled bathroom, the nicer car, the expensive running shoes, the diamond necklace, the vacation to an exotic place, we cheat ourselves when we think those things will fulfill our need to have a purposeful, abundant life. In other words, an abundance of things can mask our path to a truly abundant life. It's ironic, isn't it? So why do we so consistently miss the boat on finding the kind of abundant life that Jesus the gate, wants us to find, that he wants to lead us to? Very truly, I say, I am preaching to myself this morning too. After all our seeking and shopping and searching, we often find ourselves still unsatisfied with our lives. Perhaps that's why so many people experience something called a midlife crisis, and sometimes they try to fill that up with luxury cars or even extramarital flings. Would we even truly recognize an abundant life if it was right in front of us? How can we find this kind of abundance if it's not at the mall or for sale on Amazon? Lord help us. It's right here in front of us in this passage for one place. When Jesus says, I am the gate, it's not about the separation of sheep from the goats. Sometimes this passage has been misused as a sorting hat, and it's not that really. It's not about keeping some out and letting some in. It's not even really about eternal life and salvation. The gate, the gatekeeper, that sheepfold image used here, it's all about protecting the sheep from outside enemies that seek to do us harm. if we listen to the voice of Jesus rather than the voice of others who may be making promises about the good life, we can be more protected against the harm and damage of seeking fulfillment in hollow things that will ultimately leave us unsatisfied. Jesus, the gate, keeps us focused on the abundant life, not a life of abundance. Why? Why is it so hard to hear the voice of Jesus? Well, I suspect part of it is it requires us to depend on something other than ourselves and something over which we have no control, and we're afraid. Depending on someone or something else runs counter to how we've been taught to think, and it requires vulnerability. Abundant life, truly abundant life, flows from relationship with Jesus, and through Jesus, relationship with God. That's a big ask for most of us. We have spent so much on protecting ourselves and even protecting how we appear to others. It is really hard to leave it all in God's hands. In trying to protect ourselves from hurt, Brene Brown argues, we have also numbed the part of ourselves that will truly let us feel alive. So, we want authentic relationship with God and with others, but we instinctively hold back so as to reduce our risk of being hurt, of being rejected. Now, this emotional armor extends to the things that we tell ourselves about ourselves. Would people really love me if they really knew me? Or is it better for them to see only me, carefully curated as I post on social media about the vacations and the great restaurant meals and all those smiling family gatherings? When I look at this passage of Scripture, we so often get caught up in the metaphor of what it's all about. Is Jesus the gate, or is Jesus the shepherd? Are we the sheep? And who are those thieves, those bandits? Instead of getting all caught up in trying to figure that out, maybe we should just ask ourselves, what resists Jesus in us? What holds us back from the gate? In what ways have I tried to self-sufficiently build my own abundant life instead of releasing my life to God's abundance? Whose voice do I hear and recognize and follow? Is it the voice of the world, or is it the voice of the shepherd? Am I truly willing to go where God leads me, out of the gate and into the pastures of abundance? 1,000 voices call to us, and they can be very appealing. They promise security, attractive bodies and faces, a room full of smiling friends. They may be lying to us to part us from our wallets. Thieves come to steal and destroy and to kill. So how do we respond to the voice of the shepherd? Very truly, I tell you, in the coming days, weeks, months, years, we will all have the opportunity to lean into the voice that calls out to us, the voice that leads us to green pastures. You see, the abundant life, it cannot be earned or achieved. It can't be bought or bartered for. It is a gift. It is a gift from God, who loves us enough to lay down God's own life for us. Thieves and bandits would rob us of this gift. If we can just remove the blinders of our self-importance and our self-sufficiency, we'll be able to see Jesus, the gate, an unlocked and wide open and inviting gate. Very truly, I tell you, I pray that we may have eyes to see and ears to hear.